Thank you very much, and welcome back to this one aristocratic channel of ours. And this is MATRIC+NATED specialist. Ensure that you are hitting the subscription button as you are going on your examinations. So today we are going to do public finance and six. So remember that you must watch this video up until to the end of the module, because of all the questions that they are going to be asked in the examination, they are here. So stop wasting your time and listen up until to the end of the module. And then a first module we are going to do now what we call government income. Remember that here we are talking about how the government can gather sources of money from taxes and borrowing money from other countries. So that is why now we are having the government income. So remember that without the government having the income, and how that people they pay tax for people that are working, pay as you earn, this 15% VAT. All governments, no matter how they need this income to sustain the country, to build the infrastructure, varieties of shelters, and to build the toilets, to ensure that there's a development within the government and it's money out of your pocket. Anything else, you should derive their income solely from the tax, only from the tax, but also there are ways on which the government now, and sometimes we are saying that the government can earn money where from the nations and from other countries, and loans may are forced to ask for aid. And what is an aid? It is a supplement of money. If ever we are saying we are borrowing money from the World Bank, it means that is an aid in terms of supporting now the country, or borrow money to balance their budget. Remember, sometimes the budget it is tight, and then we are saying that the money from other countries. So what we need to understand when we are going to 5.1.1, they will say now list the general aims, or what are the aims of taxation. Of the taxation is to raise the revenues. But that as far as we want roads, as far as we want shelter, as far as we want schools to be built, as far as we want the good life, it means now the government must provide in terms of having the expenditure. So if ever we are moving on again, we have to see that most governmental activities must be financed by taxation. They must be financed by what? By taxes. A taxation policy has some non-revenue objects. What is an objectives? It is the goal that the government can reach. All right. If ever we are moving on, again, we are in 5.1.2, the sources of income. So in the examination, I want you to listen. They will say, list 4 sources of income. List 4 sources of income. I repeat. So we are saying that there is only one source of income, which is taxation. So the source of income number 1 is what? Is taxation. And it is to gather enough money to pay for the services expected by the citizens of the country. So what are citizens of the country? People that are staying. Understand that it is not true to say that taxation is the only source of income. A government may also derive money from number 2, the grants, donation, and loans. So we are saying that where does the money comes from? Number 1, it comes from taxation. Number 2, from grants. Number 3, from donations. Number 4, from loans. And that is for 8 marks. All right. Hope that one is very clear. If ever we are moving up, important of what that we need now to cover pertaining to this module. And then again, we can be asked again this question, discuss the economic regulator. We have learned that the word economic, it deals with the finance of the country. And the word regulatory, it is to control. So it is how we are controlling the economy of the country. It's known as economic regulatory system. All right. And how do we may also, however, use the taxation to cool down the economy? We can tax people. We can have more taxes to people. 2 marks. Number 2, by taking away more from people in terms of what? In terms of taxes. It cools the economy, and citizens have less to spend. And this has the effect generally by lowering inflation when spending declines. Remember that inflation, this is a general in the power of money, a general increase in prices and a decrease purchasing in the power of money. So lastly, the inflation nearly drops, always drops also. That is for 10 marks. If we are moving on again, you can see that we are in 5.1.4, whereby our question can say marks. Don't lose these marks. So how can you discuss redistribution of wealth? Remember, to redistribute it is to share something What are we sharing? But that in this case, we are saying that the more earners must be taxed more earners must be taxed, and then the less earners, they must be taxed of redistribution of wealth. So we are saying increasing opportunities, income redistribution will lower poverty by reducing inequality. So we are saying that redistribution, it will do what? It will lower poverty and it will reduce inequality. Inequality, we are saying that, if done properly. But it may not accelerate growth in major way, except perhaps by reducing social tension arising from inequality and allowing human and physical assets accumulation. That is that aspect. And then we are saying this means that however the system of taxation is employed, which has always been the case in South Africa, redistribution of wealth automatically, saying a low-income earner will enjoy the same protection of the defense force or the benefit from the medical service, having paid a smaller percentage to his or her income than a wealthier person. So we are saying that we are having the payee as pay as you earn. So you find that the person that is earning 100,000 a month will pay more tax compared to the person that is earning 4,000. So that is the scenario. So we call that redistribution of wealth, whereby the more the wealthier they are taxed more, and the middle class or low class is taxed less, but the same enjoyment of the benefits is there. All right. So we are saying that if ever we are moving on, we are having characteristics of the tax. So characteristics of the tax. So number one, that is deductions. So that is the characteristics of tax. We see taxes by means of deduction. A tax generally applies to the net income. What is the net income? The total money that you earn before taxation can be accumulated. That is as in the example above, where Yolanda is allowed to subcontract traveling expenses, which are used tax base is calculated. Number two, we talk of the exemptions. What are the exemptions? They want you to, bodies such as the non-profit melting institution are exempted from tax. So don't make money. They are exempted from tax. That is the first point that you can see. So we are saying that this means they do not pay any tax as long as they do not make any profit over and above within is used to run the organization, and including that which is earned for capital expenditure, such as buying a new buildings, for examples. That is the other point. We are saying that salaries and pensions again earned by the heads of the state, the former state, the war veterans, and etc., they are exempted from taxation. So they don't pay tax, these people. They are regarded as the war veterans and icons. So they don't pay tax. Investments are also exempted. So we are saying that at the interest of a certain investment also, they are exempted from paying tax. So the word exemption, it means that they don't pay tax at all. If ever we are moving on again, let us discuss now the incentives. So we are saying that in fiscal policy, that is the first point that you are understanding. The fiscal policy, therefore, it will stimulate the growth, the economy and the growth. It is possible that special exemptions are used to promote economic development. These might include exemptions to the exporter industries, which take part in the decentralizations and activities and training. That is the other point. The fiscal policy of any government, which is directly influenced by the time. It might also change from year to year. This model is so important. It gives an insight into the policy of the government itself. So we need to understand again the concept of absence of quid pro quo. So what is the absence? And that concept very well, and then it can be asked in the examination. So we are saying that an absence of quid pro quo in Latin, it is in Latin, it means something for something. That is the first point. We are saying that a taxpayer cannot expect to receive the measurable value of each of taxation. Let us make an example. If ever you are paying 6,000 rand, we are saying that you cannot receive each unit according to the proportion that may be equal. Let us make an example. If ever you are driving, the lad is driving maybe an old model of Kia Picanto, if ever they are in the robots, what can happen? It does not mean if ever you are driving this particular car that is aristocratic, you are having the measurable value according to what are going to take a place equally, regardless of you are paying more or regardless or may not use argument that they pay RX in a taxi. They may spend a certain period of time. Understand that we must talk about the taxation is compulsory. So we are saying the word compulsory, it is obliged by each and every person that is in the jurisdiction of South Africa will pay tax unless it was compulsory. Collective services cannot be delivered or allocated through a process of charging them. Remember that things of parks, defense, etc. Taxpayers are therefore obliged to pay for the collective services. And what are the collectively as the community? An example, it can be a park, whether they benefit from them or not. Thank you very much for listening on. Ensure that you are hitting the subscription button and asking relevant questions. Thank you very much.